What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be Family or Fiance. I keep wanting to say finance. Family or Fiance, season 1, episode 5. Now, I find it interesting that last night they dropped 2 episodes in one night. That tells me a couple of things, that probably the ratings aren't all that great and they're trying to hurry up and get done with this season, or maybe the ratings are through the roof and they're trying to give people a little extra something. I ain't been following the ratings, so I really don't know, to be honest with you, but I just thought it was interesting that we got 2 episodes in one night. Now, this is the first week that there was not an Ayanla Fix My Life to lead into this. So maybe that's what it was that they just didn't really have nothing else to put on. I don't know. With that being said, this episode was a little interesting. We have Lysandria and Julian. Now, Lysandria, this episode was a perfect example of sometimes people get so caught up in their own love that they forget about the people around them and how it's affecting the people around them. And when you're older and you have other responsibilities, this is an older couple. And I ain't saying they're old, but I'm saying all the couples we've seen before were like in their early 20s, maybe mid-late 20s, but they didn't have, I think one person had a child. But for the most part, these were people who were young and starting out, and their responsibilities were a little different. Here's a couple. They're older, they have children that are in their teens or early 20s, and they have a different level of responsibility to the people around them. Now, the way they got together was some old hokey dokey stuff, and I think that was part of the problem. They sounds like they hooked up Julian was dating Lysandria's friend. And when he found out that she was actually going through a divorce, he dropped the friend and started dating Lysandria. Now, that tells me a lot about both of y'all off the break. One, it tells me a lot about your character, Julian, because what that says to me is, were you sitting around really, like, were you dating a friend just to stay close to Lysandria all along? Lysandria, that says a lot to me about your character, because how you gonna call that woman a friend and you gonna start dating her man? And it's, according to them, the divorce was barely final before this man moved in your house. So that makes me think that it was some other stuff going on that they ain't really telling us, because that timeline is a little too convenient. You understand what I'm saying? You're married, he's dating your friend. The minute your divorce is final, he stops dating your friend and starts dating you. Y'all move in together and now y'all ready to get married. Sounds a little familiar. I mean, a little too convenient. So, Julian, his older sister, his young niece, and nephew, that's who's there for him. And for Lysandria, it's her best friend and her 2 daughters. This isn't going to be a long review, because I'm going to be perfectly honest with y'all. Somewhere, I can give y'all the beginning and I can give y'all the end, but the middle was real confusing. And I watched it twice. Okay? The middle was real. I don't know what the hell was going on. And what I mean by that is this. So, of course, they had to do 20 questions. So, Lysandria had to answer 20 questions for his family. And then, on his end, he had to take his son, spend some quality time with his son, because his son was feeling a little neglected by the relationship. So, spend some quality time with his son. They were going to go shopping, because they're going to, do some grilling. So, he bought some butcher. They went to the butcher to buy some beef, and they got some fish and stuff like that. They were making kebabs and everything. So when they first going around the room asking for, how they do the whole blessing thing. Why won't you give the blessing? So they went around the room, and everybody really was basically saying the same thing. It's just too soon. It's too soon. It's too soon. It's too soon. The daughters were basically like, look, we just coming out of a divorce, and here you are bringing some new man into the house ready to get married. And when I thought it was interesting, because when they got around to his niece, she broke down crying. Now, I don't know why she was so emotional. We never really got an answer to that. But I thought that was a very extra emotional response to just being unhappy that your uncle is with this woman. Again, I think it's a whole lot more to the backstory to this, because they clearly don't get along. Now, Lysandria is a strong personality. And she was ready for war from the beginning. She was ready to fight from the beginning. So again, y'all, I can't. They do the 20 questions, and she was getting very defensive. They do. He's out with his son, and his son is talking to him basically about, how he feels. They just haven't been spending a lot of time together anymore. They feel like, you know, he feels like, the father just kind of off in love and ain't really thinking about him. The sister's talking about he a player and he's a ladies man. Like, it was just, it was all over the place, y'all. It was really just all over the place. And then they got ready to have dinner. And the sister and Xandria end up getting into it to the point where they about to fight. Like, they straight up are in each other's face getting ready to fight. And the younger sister basically, well, no, she's the older one. She's the older sister. Because what happened was, let me rewind a little bit. He was on the grill, and she was basically trying to tell him how to do it, how to cook the food, how to work the grill. And he was like, look, I got this. Can you go do something? Because I know how to work a grill. Like, I've done this before. Like, I know how to do this. Like, go. Leave me alone. And the whole time he was trying to talk to her, she just kept looking at that grill. And he trying to talk to her about his conversation with his son and with, what he think is going on. And she steadily looking at that grill. When he got done talking, she didn't hear a word that man said. All she said was, now can I say something? You really need to turn that fish. She ain't heard nothing else he had to say. So when they were at dinner, they started talking about how she's defensive and how, sometimes her opinion is not necessarily needed, that she needs to be able to trust that people can do stuff without her telling them what to do. Like, you know what I mean? It was like one of those things that she was like, and even her daughter was like, yeah, Mom, because sometimes when you go with me to my modeling gigs or whatever, I don't necessarily need your opinion on stuff. I just want your support. Girl, she got mad. So y'all just gonna beat up on me? So this just beat up on me day? Oh, everybody coming for me. So it's my fault. Oh, so he's so perfect. It's just, and they were like, what are you talking about? Like, this isn't about who's perfect and who isn't perfect. Like, we're talking and we're just trying to tell you what are some things that could cause a conflict. Because they were talking about the arguing and stuff like that. So that's when her and the sister end up getting into it. And like I said, they were in each other's face about the fight. So the next day, they're having breakfast and it's real quiet. You can cut the tension with a knife until Lysandria leaves the table. And then the sister makes a joke talking about something. Let me hurry up and eat my breakfast because I ain't getting no dinner last night. And they kind of laughed and it sort of cut the tension. But then, let me make sure I got the right order. Yeah, I guess breakfast was okay. So then they met with, forget it. I ain't gonna try to remember the order, y'all, because like I said, this episode just was all over the place. So somehow they met with, I want to say they met with McMillan again, with Tamika again. And she was sort of asking them how things went or whatever. And they were talking about how things didn't really go too well with the arguments and stuff like that. And she was telling them, look, what you probably need to do is, your daughters are hurt. And your son is hurt. And what y'all probably need to do is y'all probably need to spend a little bit more time focused on your relationship with your children and not so much your relationship with each other. Because they're hurting. And y'all are so worried about give us your blessing to get married when you really should be worried about them. And they heard her, they were like, you're right, that's what we need to do, that kind of thing. And so they ended up going back to the family, and that's what they were kind of talking to the family, saying, look, we heard what you said, we decided that what we're going to do is we're going to sort of scale things back. We're going to reset. We're going to date. We're going to move a little slower, and we're going to date. And then what happened was, at least from where I stood, she went and talked to her daughters and she did what the doctor told her to do. She went and talked to her daughters and said, look, I love y'all. Y'all are my priority. I'm sorry if y'all felt like I didn't put you first. I'm sorry if you feel like I didn't give us time to process the divorce and really move through the divorce before I brought somebody new into the situation. And for that, I apologize, and ask your forgiveness. And so when when they were talking to the family and telling the family, look, we're going to kind of reset, we're going to regroup, we still love each other, but we're going to just kind of focus on our relationships with our children, and we're going to just date, we're going to go back to just dating. The family sounded like they were very supportive. What the family was saying was, what I heard was, that's a good idea. We think that's a great idea. But we know that y'all do love each other, so we know it's going to work out kind of thing. Well, then she got mad at that. She said, well, when we got here and we asked for y'all blessing, nobody wanted to give us your blessing. Now that we said we're going to take things slow and we're going to go back a notch, now all of a sudden it's, oh, but y'all love each other. Make up your mind. What is it you really want? Make up your mind. I was like, you hear what you want to hear. Because I feel like they were giving y'all some support, but saying we agree with that decision for y'all to step it back. Nobody ever said that they didn't love each other. They just said y'all moving too damn fast, and she's just getting out of I think it was like a 12-year marriage or something like that. Y'all need time to process. That's all everybody was saying. So I feel like she heard what she wanted to hear and just got an attitude, just got mad. I was like, look, I can't do this with this woman. Then the sister got, the night, it was the sister, I guess it was the sister again, I don't know. They got to arguing. The sister called Lysandria a bitch. When the sister called Lysandria a bitch, then the daughter got up telling my son, you're not going to call my mother out her name, And they got to fighting, and they cut the camera away, which tells me that there must have been a real, like a physical altercation, because they cut that camera away. You saw everybody running. Before that, the son got upset, because I'm all over the place, y'all. But Lysandria said something about not liking people cutting her off, right? But then every time other people were talking and she wanted to say something and she didn't agree with what they were saying, she would cut them off. So she kept doing that to the son. So the son got upset and was like, look, you're not going, he was like, I'm really pissed off right now. I feel like you done cut me out of my father's life. I feel like, y'all done disrespected me. You keep cutting me off, And he got upset and he walked off. So when the fight happened, you see all of them running. And like I said, they cut the camera away, so you didn't really see what actually happened. But usually when they do that, that means there was some sort of physical altercation that took place. He's hugging his sister. His sister she done fell out on the ground crying. They pulling the daughter back. The daughter done kicked her shoes off. She's really ready to fight this older woman, which that's a whole nother set of issues. Now, I understand having a problem with somebody calling your mother out their name, but for you to feel like it's okay to approach and go and put your hands on a woman that's old enough to be your mama, that's another problem. And that's a problem she need to be dealing with, which, I guess they couldn't address that on the show, but that was an issue for me. So yeah, y'all. So what happened was they went to talk back to the doctor again. And, the doctor basically said, look, this might not really be where y'all need to be focusing right now. Y'all probably really need to be focusing on y'all these relationships. And that's what they decided to do. They decided that they were going to go home, focus on their relationship with their children, go back to the beginning, and just learn how to date again, which is what they did. And when they did the update, that's what's still going on. I do believe that couple loves each other, like I said, because I think they've been messing around longer than they said they've been messing around, if you really want to know the truth of the matter. I think that for PC purposes or for the public's consumption, they decided to stick with this story that they started dating after her divorce. But I think something was going on, because to me, that's just too damn convenient for me. But anyway, y'all, that's what it was. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.